Boom, 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 boom. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are all having a good day today. I was trying to load something, but it doesn't want to behave. Oh, it loaded. It loaded. All right. Welcome. If you do not know, my name is Kat. I am the nurse slipper. Rod is wonky over there. My co-host picking and punching. And Dalton is beside me here. He has something he's going to tell you guys. And then below me is Erin from Rebel Junque. And then Catty Corner is my good friend Tiffany, Thrifting Vegas. So if you do not know these ladies, they both have been on before. I have met them both. When we were in Las Vegas last month, we just had lunch with Tiffany. We went and had pizza and we went shopping with her. And Dalton followed her around the store instead of me. So he was in Tiffany's video. If you watch Tiffany, you might have seen Dalton over there on her channel.
A little bit of confusion.
Yeah, like, wait, that's Kat's kid. Why is he with Tiffany? So we did get to hang out with Tiffany while we were in Las Vegas. So I'm gonna let Dalton hopefully tell you about this. He has got something going on at school, and I am gonna drop a link for you guys. So I'm gonna try and move.
Or you could just
Can you tell them what you're doing? Oh, I guess they could scan the QR code if mommy zooms in. Okay. Tell them what you're doing. You're not going to tell them? What are you trying to do? Raise money for what?
look.
So his class is raising money. There's he's obsessed with QR codes. I don't think the QR code will work for you though.
I made them big.
Sign up. I know, but I think that
it didn't even work for me.
It didn't work for him on his phone. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Dalton's class is raising money for books, and like the first part of the money we raise goes to books for him at home. He doesn't care if he's in front. Okay. And then the rest of it goes to his classmates that might not be able to afford. I don't think that's going to help them. The rest of the money, but did it take you to Dalton? It didn't take you to Dalton's. You might, if you need information, just tell me. But here's the link. Okay, so this is the link to Dalton's, and he'll get, I think he gets 10 books, and then once he has gotten all of his 10 books, it will go to his classmates that cannot afford to buy books. Yeah, use that link I just put in the chat. And I think the books are like $5 each or so, just to give you guys an idea. So like any little bit helps. So do you want to tell them that he has to go to bed? He doesn't want to go to bed. Can you tell them thank you if they send money for the books? Look there.
Let's go.
All right. Tell them good night.
Good night.
All right. Go to bed.
Good night, Dalton.
Tell Miss Tiffany and Erin and Rod bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Not bye.
Well,
Bye, Rod.
Bye.
Okay. Go. I love you. All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for letting me have a couple of minutes just to let him do that. It asks for emails, and I'm like, all my friends are like friends that are here. Like they're not like, I have a few friends in person. And I gave Marsha, I sent you that link. If you'll share it throughout the show and just let everybody know it's for raising books for his class, I would appreciate it. So now Dalton's going to be angry because he has to go to bed, and look at that face. And I'm going to make Erin and Tiffany big and let them introduce themselves. And I did see you guys wanting them to tell you what they sell, so they will do that. And they'll tell you where you can find them. So here is Erin.
Hey, everybody. I go by Rebel Junque here on YouTube, but I don't post very much here. I have Instagram and Facebook where I mostly post. I sell on eBay and knickknacks in some other districts. And I sell mostly vintage tchotchkes. I don't know. They're like, I have everything. I've got
Erin taught me that word. I didn't know that word before Erin.
You didn't know tchotchkes?
Tchotchkes, knickknacks,
I didn't know
doodads,
tchotchkes.
Oh my God.
collectibles, all that stuff. So, I'm focusing more on smalls, but pottery, glass, metal, sculptures, figurines, all of the just fun, unnecessary things.
All right. Here is Tiffany.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tiffany. I'm Thrifting Vegas on YouTube. I also have TikTok, Instagram. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, and on my own store, which is thriftingvegas.com. I sell a little bit of everything. I started out on eBay in 2002 selling clothes, a lot of shoes, and just about everything I could make a buck on. These days, I focus on what YouTube demand of me, and that is vintage items, glass collectibles, figurines, sculptures, unusual odds and ends, rare name brand pieces, valuable pieces, and whatever you tell me I should be picking up.
She does what you guys want her to do, because her primary, like, isn't it your primary sales are going to viewers, right?
Yes, after every thrifting video, I have a haul where I show you everything I bought and I explain what it is, why I picked it up, and if I didn't pick it up, why I didn't. And then I make it available to my viewers and subscribers first to directly purchase. You can email me and say, I want that for this much money. And what's left over goes up on my store website, thriftingvegas.com.
Oh, awesome. All right, I have to put this up here, and then Leroy, I see you, I promise. Dan said he got his biggest sale today, $1,900 sale, and he made $1,456 in profit, and it was electrical components that were going to the dump.
That's fantastic.
So when I asked Erin to come on today, Erin said that is perfect because it is Earth Day. So everybody that hates those of us that resell and we're stealing from the poor and blah, 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 the reality is we're saving crap from the landfill and finding it new homes, you know? So today is a perfect day for that. And that's amazing, because that electrical stuff would have went to the dump and just sat there, because that's not going to biodegrade. Instead, Dan got it and made $1,400 profit, which is absolutely amazing. So congrats. There's my good friend, Leroy, Blood, Sweat, and Sell. And he says, hello, Tiffany. Hello, Erin and Dalton. He's not saying hi to either me or Rod. I guess we're both in the doghouse.
Really, right?
So because of that, guess what you get, buddy? Guess what you get?
Uh-oh.
Close your eyes. Here we go. Where is it? I can't find it.
It's not coming on.
Where did he go? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there he is. Here you go.
Oh, Kevin.
Lovely.
Oh, Kevin. Right. That's all we can say is, oh, Kevin. You know, it happens. I bet Rod says that frequently, because Rod talks to him and hangs out with him a little bit more than I do. You know, like, all right. Everybody started putting questions like super early, like at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So I'm going to tell you tonight, more than normal, get your questions in. There are 13 and we started like 10 minutes ago. So, all right. I want to put, Laura, thank you for sending Dalton book money, and any of the rest of you. Marsha just shared the link again. His class is raising money for books. So the first part will go to him. He'll get all of the books. There are 10 of them. And then the rest will go to his classmates that can't afford them. All right. So let's see. At 1 o'clock, Karen was very early. She wants to know, does ending and relisting items help with eBay algorithms, even if you don't list any other new items the same day?
I mean, it's all theoretical. Nobody really knows, but I would say yes, because, in theory, you've just listed a new item. Because don't you get a new item number when you
if you sell similar, if you relist, it's the same number.
Okay. So, eBay is generally looking for activity. And I will tell you that I have not listed anything new on eBay in probably 3 weeks or more. And I'm still getting sales like randomly here and there. But I do go in and I send offers. I look at things. I take things down that are old that need new pictures. I still like fiddle with things that are already in there. And so we're still generating activity. So I think if you have a mindset of, I need my account to be active, that is certainly a way to be active.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Erin. Activity of any kind is a good thing. And Karen, you probably meant sell similar, which is much better to do than relisting an item, because eBay sees it as brand new. And when it's brand new, they want to get it in front of eyes. So you'll end an item, you'll sell similar, you'll make sure your title is optimal, really good keywords, change it around a bit, change the price either up or down, just make it look different. As far as a title, you want to create your title as if you were searching for that item. So if you say to yourself, if I want this item, what am I going to type in? And that should be the first part of your title. I've also found very recently, because of the varied things that I sell, if I list a new thing in a certain category, for example, I found a pair of shoes just I didn't want the other week, and I listed it. And the next few days, I sold 2 pairs of shoes that had been listed for 4 years. So if you want to sell in a certain category, maybe list in that category. Just try that and see if it works for you as well.
So I have to agree with what both are saying right there. I do end and sell similar. I do it every day. I try to do it every day. I try to actually do it the first thing in the morning, because then I get activity on my account. Why is my camera acting up? But the biggest reason for that is when you do sell similar, guys, make sure you guys are adjusting. Just like Tiffany was saying, you want to make sure you're adjusting the price. You want to make sure you're adjusting your pictures, or just something in there, because it sat up there for months and did not sell, or years, for no matter how long you had it up there. Also, too, from eBay, I think after 90 days, the items pretty much fall to the wayside. And that if it hasn't sold in that time frame, I'm always going to sell similar and end and sell similar. But also, too, prices change in items. You know what I mean? Like, you may list something in the summer where it was super hot for the summertime, and now come wintertime, those items might be selling for a third of the price now, because they're out of season. So these are things that, adjusting the price, adjusting the thing to do it. Also, too, throughout the day, and I always tell people this, the biggest thing is, as a buyer, how do you search? You're going to search for items that are ending for an auction, try to get a good deal, or you're going to search for newly listed items on eBay. You're trying to get someone who maybe underpriced the item, didn't know what they have. So people actually have saved searches on their phone for newly listed items. So if you end and sell similar, and that thing comes up as a newly listed item, if they have if that person has that listing saved, let's say you have like some type of collectible saved to their search, they automatically get a notification that item was relisted now, or that item was listed on eBay, and they'll get a notification. So it's a good way to get activity, a good way to get sales. And also, too, like Tiffany said, people click on your item, they like that, they're going to see what else you have to say, what else you have for sale, and they're going to look at the other similar items in your store, which helps get other sales, just like she sold another 2 pairs of shoes on top of it.
Yeah, and I think any activity makes the algorithm happier than it would be if you do nothing. And that can even be just going and changing titles and pictures without ending and selling similar. I do what Rod does, though. In the morning, that's one of the first things I do, is I will end the items that are ending that day that have been listed for, I do 4 months. So once they're over that 3-month point, and then I relist them later in the day, because I used to relist them at 6 a.m. And what happened is, if I didn't wake up at 6 a.m., then they were already rolled over and I wouldn't see them. And then they'd go for months and months. So I'll end them early in the morning, but I haven't relisted my 150 for today yet. I'll do that before I go to bed. But I think if you can't list anything, then that will help. Like, I listed 10 today. My goal is like 40, so I was way under. But Tuesdays are my recording day, and they're when I meet with my trainer at the gym, and Tuesdays are just absolutely wild for me. So I think anything you can do to show activity, sending offers too. Sending offers is activity. Anything that's activity will help. All right. Jack New York says, I see more and more resellers with YouTube channels teach new resellers not to list every day, as this is not helpful for the algorithm, which is totally contradicting what we just said. They're asking, is this misleading or is it a new strategy? So what are your thoughts? And I don't have time to watch YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm too busy making content for YouTube to watch it. But I haven't seen this. So what do you say about people telling people not to list every day?
I consume a lot of YouTube content. I have not seen that. I don't know that, again, I don't know that it matters other than if I list, I get more sales, I'm still getting sales. And for me right now, my income is not, like I'm not a full-time reseller. I guess you would say part-time because we don't necessarily depend on my income, to pay the bills. But, certainly I think you need to have some activity every day. I mean, it's the same idea as before. Like, you've got to show eBay that you are willing to be on their platform and doing something. But I don't know that why you wouldn't, if you want to list every day, why you wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either, but I don't watch YouTube. I just hop in on a few live sales to support my friends. But I've always tried to list every day, and that's really what gets me sales. If I don't list, I don't get sales. It's really that simple. So in an ideal world, I would be listing, like Kat said, a definite number of items every day. My goal is like 5 at the moment. I'm still not meeting that because of all this stuff I have going on. But yeah, I don't see why limited activity would benefit you. I don't see that the algorithm would punish you for new items or
I'm curious what the reasoning would be behind that. If anybody knows what these YouTubers are recommending is the reason why.
Joy's saying she's seen it too.
But any reason why though, or why they're recommending that?
Tell us why. Like, what is their reasoning for this?
So I know the Aussie Flipper put out a video doing that as well, and so honestly, I haven't seen the videos of that, but I have seen those videos have popped up in my feed and stuff like that. I don't know I can't answer the reason why, if that's true, but I mean, here's the thing is you need to have a balance. So you don't have to list every single day on eBay. Some people will say drafts, they can list on Saturday and Sunday. If you just have a normal balance in your life, it's just consistency. So if you take off every Saturday, Sunday, you want to list Monday through Friday, perfect. You can have a balance in your life, but you can also be consistent and still get those daily listings in. So technically you don't have to list every single day on eBay, but just like everyone said in here, the more activity you have in your store, the more you're going to get rewarded for activity. So the more you list, the more offers you send out, the more work you put in your store, the more, if it's good quality items at good pricing, you're going to get rewarded on that. You're going to get more sales. It's the same thing from day one. Nothing has changed on eBay since they started in the 90s. It's the same process as always. You list good items up there, you're active a lot, you're going to get sales out of it. So plain and simple.
I mean, and I take off the weekends, guys. I've been taking off the weekends for like 4 months now. I'm going to look, like, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to look right now and tell you guys like what my weekend throughout like this month looked like, because I don't list it all on the weekends. So my Saturday was $86.
Oh, wow.
And my Sunday was $200. Let's go back a week. But last Sunday was $520. Saturday was $360. And then the Sunday before was $522, but Saturday was $94. So Saturdays have been really crappy for me. Like today though, I only listed 10 and I've sold $900. Where did Tiffany just go?
So
I elbowed her.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm getting out of here.
I would tell you guys this though. Like I took off for 3 weeks, didn't listen to anything. I said my sales were in the crapper, and my Saturday actually was bad. But like my Friday was $960. My Saturday was $179. Sunday was $1,059, and yesterday I did $2,119. So, but today I literally didn't have any sales until we logged on to the show, which is weird. So I did 2,100 yesterday.
Well, remember what? Like 2 weeks ago, I was at zero.
Yeah.
At this time of night. But I mean, we're still up like 30%. We're doing pretty good. You can take, I don't do this. I probably should. You don't have to technically list like on the weekends, like we're talking about. You can schedule them to go out. You know, you could like schedule, even if it's just 5, you could schedule
Yeah.
like 5 to go out Saturday, 5 to go out Sunday. But I do send offers. I don't list, but I send offers every single day.
I wonder if the people that are recommending that you don't have to list every day are recommending scheduling,
I don't know.
because
I mean,
that would make sense.
It's no difference than having a digital
Like a VA.
digital bank. You know what I mean? Where you're having all your drafts just saved in there, and you have 200 drafts, and you just click and you list those days. So
Right.
it's no similar than that. But yeah, I'm curious. Now, after this show's over, I'm literally going to go watch a video tonight. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, see what the heck they have to say
Research.
about that.
And Kat won't watch it, so she'll just ask me tomorrow what was in the video, and I'll tell her. So.
All right. Elena says, when listing a vintage item, do you put the word vintage in your title? If so, do you put it at the beginning of the title or at the end of the title?
Okay, so I think Kat has done videos on this about what are the first 5 words you should put in your listing. Haven't you done that before?
I think I talked about it when I did like my keywords, and I think people have told us that like the first 5 words have a little more weight in search than the rest.
Okay, so I saw a lot of vintage items, and honestly, sometimes the brand name, because it only was manufactured for so long, is more effective than putting the word vintage. I do tend, if I have space, I'll put VTG, because if you search the word vintage, anything with VTG will come up. So I do use that, especially if it's an item that's no longer made, or the vintage version of it is more desirable. So I guess it just depends on what the thing is. But I'm certainly willing to use it. I'm probably overuse it, honestly.
What I will do is my title will be exactly what I would type in if I was looking for an item. So if it's a very specific thing, like a 1963 figurine, that's what you type in. But if you're looking for something broad, like Kat sells handkerchiefs, if you want to look at vintage handkerchiefs, then that's what you would type in. It really depends on the item. You wouldn't necessarily type in it's something if it's really, really specific and that's what you're looking for. But if it's a broad category of something you want to browse, then it's probably a good idea. So, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It just depends for me exactly what I would type in if I was looking for that thing.
Yeah, so for me, I do use vintage, and I will tell you guys the reason. Your first 5 words are very key, because if I pull up on a desktop, I can see all the characters. If you pull up on a phone, you might not be able to see all the characters. Same thing with like YouTube titles and certain things you guys go to look, where certain devices, from an iPad to a tablet, from a phone to a computer, you're gonna show you different amount of characters across the top. So that's why it's very important to have your keywords in the very front of it. Also, too, people read from left to right. So that the reason why you want to have those keywords right in the very beginning, you want them to go through a bunch of junk that doesn't matter to your listing. So that's very important. When it comes to using the term vintage, vintage is one of the most overused terms on eBay. And I would say it comes down to the actual items. I'll give you guys a couple examples. Like if I'm going to do like a Mike Tyson t-shirt, like I'm wearing a Mike Tyson t-shirt, there may be a reprint and there might be a vintage. So if I have the original vintage one, I'm going to put vintage to help distinguish it from the reprints out there. If I'm getting a Star Wars action figure, Star Wars remade all those action figures that look identical to the toys from the 80s. So if I have an original Star Wars toy from 1980, I'm going to list it as vintage Star Wars, so it just to distinguish it differently from the ones that are released later on. So it really comes down to the item. If you want to put vintage in it because it's a vintage item and it's not key to that listing, I put it at the very end, because you have those extra. I try to use all 80 of my characters. So if I have keywords, I can throw in there VTG for short for vintage, like Erin was saying, there is perfect to put in there. A lot of people probably didn't know that. I'll put in vintage. I hate when people use rare. I have this on my listings because I sell similar to people's and they just had it in there and their item sold. So I figured I'd throw it in mine too. But it is very important that there's a science to your keywords.
Yeah, so for me, I used to always put it first, and now I honestly don't pay attention to where I put it. Sometimes it's at the beginning, sometimes it's at the middle, and sometimes it's at the end. And the biggest secret that's not a secret is that if whatever category you're in has the option to mark, is it vintage, yes or no, and you mark it, it's going to come up whether you put it in your title or not. Same thing with antique, same thing with sign. So if I have a bunch of other keywords that are going to be not in the item specifics that the buyer is going to search for, I'll pull vintage if it's in the item specifics. If it's not, I want it in my title. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up. I really like, this is kind of a soapbox thing for me, guys. If you see 10 of them, 10 on eBay, it's not friggin' rare. Okay, if you should either be the only one or there might be two.
Yeah.
Like if there are 10 or more, it's not rare. There's plenty of them. So
Hard to
I
find.
will
Hard to find.
I'll use rare if mine is the only one and I have room, because really in reality, I don't feel like people search for rare. You know, like they're not searching that. So like that, I have a video on keywords. I should do a new one on titles, because like people use beautiful and like shiny and all these words that nobody's searching for. If you're not going to put in shiny brooch, don't put it in your friggin' title. Like, don't use words that people don't search.
But here's another thing and the biggest mistake I see a lot of new eBay sellers do this is they'll put in mint, excellent condition. These are terms that are very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Do not put definitives in your listings, because that will get you in trouble. Because if you tell me something's mint and I get it and I see a little tiny nick in the corner,
his idea of mint might be different from mine.
Bingo, right there. This is why eBay has a drop down in there. When you list an item, like if you're listing a video game, it tells you the different categories and gives a breakdown. Very good, and what's the definition behind that. So do not put those terms in your titles, because they're only going to get you in trouble.
So somebody said cuddly, soft, and similar. Karen said that. I will tell you, I put soft because like I want soft t-shirts, like the t-shirts that are like pre-worn. I want those. So I would search for a soft t-shirt. I'm not like, or a soft blanket. Thank you, Scott. Scott sent a $10 super chat.
I hate you, Scott, but damn it, I respect you so much. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I mean, but like, so I'm trying to what's the word that for like the kids' little like loveys? I put lovey because people would search for like a kid's lovey.
Wait, what's a lovey?
Like the little like stuffed animals with the little blankets attached, or gotcha. Even like little stuffed animals that kids might have like in bed with them. Yeah, like lovey. That's a good one.
There's another one too. You guys can't use the word not. Like for example, like if you have say it's something that looks like Star Wars is not Star Wars, and you put not Star Wars in your title, you'll get flagged for that.
They will
get you for that. Or
do not put without battery, because they'll get you for that too. Because they're like, no, you just put battery in the title and it doesn't have a battery. They'll pull it. Yep. Yeah. So security blanket, things like that. Those work. All right.
And also, if you guys have any damage to your item or something's damaged, something that you want to bring attention to it, put read or put little stars at the very end of it. Say read or see, see description in there, because it gives people, you put in your title and gives them an option to go down and read, because we all know that 95% of people do not read your description. They don't look past your first picture. This is why your first picture and the first keywords or title are so important, because people are going to be impulse and just go and buy.
I have to tell a story real quick. So
I triggered her now.
As a seller, I should know better, right? I should read the description.
We should read, but nobody reads, and that includes us.
We searched and searched and searched high and low for a replacement blanket for my daughter. She had this blanket. We got it at Target. Like
I looked for that blanket for you.
We found one. And I did not read anything. I was like, oh my God, that's it. Buy. Right. And I was like, there's no shipping on here. What's going on? So then after I bought it, went back in and read, it was pickup only. And luckily, she was like, if I had to go get it, I could have, but it was like a 2.5 hour drive to get there. So like 5 hours round trip. And I was not looking forward to that. So I messaged her to see if she could ship it for me. And she said, I will take it to UPS. They will box it. I will get on the phone and you will have to give them your credit card. And I said, done, do it. I will pay. We will
You looked
pay
for a
whatever
long
it
time
is.
for that blanket, though.
We looked for over a year for a replacement. Yeah. So anyhow, yes,
someone put-
please tell the people to read, but they still won't.
Related to what we were just talking about, someone actually put in the chat, this is actually very important. They put down what's the difference between vintage and antique. And there was a terminology that's very important for a lot of people. So anything vintage is going to be 20 years or older, and antiques usually 100 years or older, generally speaking.
Yeah, that is like, I think Etsy kind of came up with that like soft definition because Etsy, they only want vintage.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to give Scott my octopus because I like my octopus and I like Scott. Here you go.
You know, after I just said that, I was like, man, 2000, that means 2005 is considered vintage. I was like, oh, I'm so old right now.
We're all so old right now. Like, so old.
I am. I'm getting
my show gets interrupted with commercials because that's something new that YouTube is doing, and that is how we get paid. I don't want to hide and act like we're doing this for free. We would like to get paid. And it's a brand new thing. Like it used to be where we could only put ads after the fact, so you wouldn't see them while we're live. And I think YouTube kind of figured out like that the lives were not providing like revenue, and they offered it, and I took it. We're not antique yet. We're not. And I'm gonna put this up here because you guys know I'm all about paying for stuff that makes my life easier. YouTube Premium is $10 a month, and you have no commercials, and it lets you play music while your phone's asleep, like closed. And I use it for that all the time.
I use it for that too. Yeah.
Also, too, guys,
podcasts, like everything.
We don't control the ads that pop up on this. Just so you guys know, YouTube actually puts these in. We can't control that at this time.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, we don't like determine like how often or what ads or anything. We just say yes or no.
Also, too, we're not pushing you guys to get YouTube Premium. We're just letting you know, hey, there's an option for that. And to be completely honest with you, I think YouTube's doing this on purpose so people move over to Premium.
People will get Premium.
Yes.
And if you do get Premium, we get less.
Yes. So, like, at the end of the day,
I mean, it's easier, but it like.
Yeah.
Brad
so you guys
says
know.
he's not antique, he's USDA choice. Mid-century modern. We're all keywording ourselves now.
Yeah.
I'm like 90s retro.
You're 90s
That's when
retro.
I grew. I'm not like a 90s baby. Don't think that. When I was a 90s baby, I'm not a 90s baby. Okay. Carrie said some people on YouTube have guard dogs. In the comments, people who are self-appointed, not appointed, self-appointed protectors, and jump on commenters that they perceive are being critical. They want to know, do any of us have anybody like that in our comments, and how would you handle it if you did?
So, no. I guess the answer is no, I wouldn't. I haven't had any, and my channel is like still under 1,000, but I don't post videos there regularly. Sometimes I'll cast my live shows to my channel, and then I just go in and put the settings to where you had to have been a subscriber for like a year before you can leave a comment. YouTube does a lot of filtering on its own. I get comments in the background, and it tells me, hey, do you want to approve this or not? They have filters. You can put certain words in your filters that YouTube will automatically take them out. So I mean, there's never been an argument in my comment section, but I've seen others that do that. But no, I would never. I mean, but technically, you're talking about a moderator, basically.
Yeah, I have.
Tiffany's like, well,
Yeah, I have several. They come and go. My target audience is ladies over 50, and
I
I
do.
have some darling supporters that defend me to their death. I have an extensive list of filter words. Every cuss and derogatory word you can think of. I don't censor any comment that is critical, just that is offensive. So if you're going to go on and call me an old witch, I had one yesterday, stay home witch, you suck. So that gets deleted. If it's personal and rude and it doesn't add any value to my video or the comments, it goes bye-bye and the person gets blocked. If it is just a criticism, make your videos shorter. You're kind of boring. Can you speed up? Or go slower on the shelves, go faster on the shelves. Why do you pick up junk? Why do you say made in China stuff is junk? I respond. I respond with my reasoning. I don't just boot somebody because I don't like it, only if it's offensive. And it's really cute to see my little defending people, and I love them and I thank them and I appreciate their support and bulldogness, I guess.
So you guys, and so the more and more you guys post and make video content and stuff like that, the bigger your channel gets, you're going to automatically have these people that are going to follow you. There's so many people out there that you guys probably watch on YouTube that you feel like you know them personally because you watch their videos once a week, twice a week, and you've done that for years. So you know everything about them. It's almost like you're part of their family. You're part of them. So when people come in their comments, you take it personally because this is a person that you enjoy watching, you like it, and YouTube removes the barrier that you have from like a TV, movies, rap stars, rock stars. You can't interact with them. Maybe on Twitter here and there, occasionally you get lucky, but like here, we will respond to every single comment. We will interact with you guys here. So people have a tendency to respond to that in our comments. And I get a lot of people hate me in my comments sometimes. People love me in my comments, but I don't even have to defend myself. So just so you guys know, a lot of people, we don't delete comments. Some of us do, some don't. Okay. I don't delete comments on my page. But what happens is if you curse or do something else, YouTube automatically holds your comments for them to be approved.
Or a derogatory word, they will also automatically
they'll hold it. So there's a little thing like in YouTube, you go to each one of your videos, you have to click on like a side panel and go down, and it shows you all the hidden comments. And you go in there, you can manually approve those comments if you want. But I mean, I always tell people it's just like Facebook. If someone came to your Facebook page and started commenting about, the picture of you and your mom and started making comments about your mom, like you wouldn't want that on your page. So a lot of YouTubers will delete stuff like that. But as you get bigger, people will come in there. You don't even have to touch it. And people will come in there and just defend you till death. And it's great. I will tell you, because that shows us as creators that we made a connection with our audience, that they're willing to come in and fight for us and do what they want. And I will tell you this, YouTube is a very strange world because I will put out a video, and if I pay too much, people will just bear me because I paid too much. If I pay too less, people will come in there and bear me for paying too less. There's no way to please everyone out there. So that's one thing I've learned from day one. But it just, people will make comments and people perceive things completely different the way they want to perceive things. So someone commented on my video the other day that they complained that I think I tipped someone like $10 on a kid stand for lemonade, and then I negotiated for like an extra $1 or $2 off at the next sale. Like, how dare you do that after you just gave that person $10 to a kid? I'm like, it's a freaking kid. Like, yeah, I'm gonna tip the kid $10. Like, that goes a long way. So like, no matter what you guys do, someone's gonna make a comment on there. And it's almost an honor to have people do that, for you, because you know that you have that type of audience. But that's what it's part of being a creator on here. You have to have a thick skin, regardless.
Yeah, so it's really funny because when I first started, and I'll tell you guys, the bigger you get, the more haters you get, but the more people that love you too, right? So I used to be like Tiffany, and any negative I would remove and I would block. And then I said, you know what? I'm not taking their crap anymore. I'm going to give it back. And the last one that I got was probably 2 weeks ago, Erin, two or 3 weeks ago. Somebody commented, what are you doing getting plastic surgery? You're so fake. You know what? I have not had any plastic surgery. I have been going to the gym 5 days a week for a year and a half. So I told her to quit assuming shit. I'm going to cuss right now because that's what it is. And I pinned it to let those bulldogs attack her. Talk crap to me. I'm putting you at the top of my list, and everybody that loves me is going to tell you what they think of you. And so I don't take the crap anymore. I will, like, if it's super negative, like, and like bad words that I don't want people to read, but that I'm like, no, let people see what these, and Brooke, what Brooke said to that comment is, Mom, I deserve a raise because I do your makeup so good people think you have plastic surgery. I'm like, oh, thanks. But you know, like, you do have to develop a tough skin. And after 5 years, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and at this point, I don't care what the hell you say to me. You can tell me whatever you want and I don't care. And I think the time that hit home, because it used to get to me, it would bother me, it would upset me. Not anymore. And the biggest quote, and I will share this with all of you for your life, not just YouTube, is that other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
Think whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
And that's the best part, Kat, because here's the thing. Just like eBay, just like the algorithms there, when people comment, there's activity on your videos.
Whether it's bad or good.
So listen here, you haters. You want to come out there, talk shit all day long, post stuff on our page all day long. Do you know what happens? That just boosts our video right to the top. So bring it on. You can say whatever you want. Jimmy Tom's been called a douchebag on my channel probably a dozen in the last month. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it goes right off the shoulders. Like,
who was I talking to? I was talking to about, like, the Reddit. Was it you, Erin? I was talking to somebody about like the Reddit threads. But that's the same thing. Oh, it was Sam. It was Jolie Flips. Me and her were on the phone talking about it. And I'm like people used to message me years ago when, like, the trash talk started, and they're like, hey, so-and-so's live talking about you. And I used to go in there. You know what? Now I'm like, okay, that's good. Let them talk. Yeah. Say whatever the hell you want. Because I think people that know me, that watch me, they know me. And if people want to think crap, think it. You know, I don't care. Like, I have close friends that I care what they think. And beyond that, I don't. And I love you guys. Like, I love you. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't love you. But I'm not going to let somebody that is not personally involved in my life or my children's life make me upset and ruin my day by a comment. Hi, kitty. It's free advertising, right? So they go trash talk you on Reddit, and then people are reading and they're like, who's that? And guess what they're going to do? They're going to come friggin' watch us to see who we are. So thank you. Talk crap all you want.
So I did professional wrestling for several years, and my trainer used to have a saying. He used to tell us all the time: when you're performing in front of a live audience, if the crowd is cheering, you're doing something right. If the crowd's booing you, you're doing something right. If the crowd has no reaction, then you're not connecting with your audience, and there's a miss going on. If the people are down there looking at the phone, not paying attention to what you're doing, then you're doing something wrong. So if they're booing you, cheering you, you're doing something right. You're on the right path. Just remember that.
Yeah, for sure. Silver, Todd thinks that Rod stinks, and he paid to put this up here, so I'm putting it up here. But he just boosted his channel because now everybody wants to go see the stinky guy. And Scott is right. Scott says if you let the outside world determine your value, you will always be undervalued. Right, that is 100%. So true. That's just like negative feedback, and it is so hard to not let it ruin your mood or ruin your day. I don't even read the crap. Like, I didn't even challenge it. I'm like, oh, I got another negative feedback. Okay. And I just go on with my day. And then I'm like, man, I could have challenged that. But I didn't care so much that I didn't. All right. Todd, what are we giving Todd? I'm going to give Todd the whale. Oh, no, the kitty cat, because Erin showed the kitty. We'll do the kitty. Here we go. Meow, meow, meow. That came about because all of our panel guests had kitty cats on the panel one night.
3 weeks in a row.
Where
the cats just kept jumping up on the screen and walking across the screen and all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, Bernadette's right. Like, even if somebody does get plastic surgery, like, whose business of it is yours? I'm still teaching you, and I didn't. But it, like, who cares? Like, who cares?
That's right.
I have not
Who
changed the
cares?
way I do my videos, except for I'm more comfortable behind a camera. I can articulate better, and I'm just more used to being in front of the camera. Other than that, I've not changed how I do my videos in years. Whether I had 100 subs, 1,000 subs, or 100,000, I have not changed it. I have not changed.
But
I'm still a pain in the butt if
But
you know
here's-
me in person.
yeah, like
Um,
you put your life out here too. Like you got your teeth done. You came on here. You told everyone, "Hey, I'm going to
I
Miami.
did.
I got my teeth," and now you feel more confident.
I
You feel
got a
better
new
about it.
grill.
Like who cares? Like that made you feel good in your side about getting it done.
But
And
like,
you
how
told
many
your
people were
audience.
giving me crap too about
Yeah.
my teeth before? That like, yeah,
Can't
I
win.
did it for me. Like, who cares? You
And now
know?
you feel better and you feel confident about yourself. And who cares? It's a win-win all around. So
Yeah, people just have to, like Rod said, you cannot make everybody happy. You just can't. All right. Stephanie says she is an everything seller. She went full time 9 months ago. She has 488 items cross listed to 3 platforms. Her average sales price is $30. When did you see consistent daily or weekly sales that average 10 plus a day or 50 plus weekly? So if you're doing that, give her some suggestions. I can speak. I talk about how good I am and then I can't.
Well, like that's really specific. That's not necessarily a metric that I know personally for myself. I do remember very vividly, though, learning that you had to get to 500 listings before you were going to see consistent sales. And I found that to be true. But that was also a couple years ago. I've been doing this 5 years now, I think. So I don't know how true that is, but I mean, if you list consistently, and some people say it's a number of listings, some people say it's how much you want to earn each day is how much you should list every day. So it's just finding a process and a program that works for you. It's all trial and error. Like nobody knows for sure. Everything that we know about the algorithm is so anecdotal, but we do know that again, activity generates activity, and so do something.
I'm going to say I don't think it's as much, the quantity of items you have listed now or the time you've been doing it. I think at this point you have to analyze what you are selling, the items that you are listing. And if you're not getting the sales you're looking for, now you're doing everything else right. Maybe do a little more research and take more care in deciding what you're going to list and what you're going to source.
So I think you hit the nail on the head. It comes down to what the type of items you're selling. Because if you're selling winter jackets and it's summertime, you're probably not going to sell any winter jackets. You know what I mean? So you're going to get all those sales in the October, November, December, January timeframe. It really comes down to what you sell. The Cincinnati Picker. A lot of people know, watch his videos. If you ever look at his store, he has, I hung out with John the one time. We were going through his store looking at things, and he only keeps like 150 to 300 items in the store, but he has his sell-through rate. He's selling 150, 200 items. So like he almost has 100% sell-through rate. Everything he's listing is selling. So I think it really comes down to, you want to have a lot of sales. You need to have fast selling items. And I don't care if the item is going to be $100 profit or a $10 profit. If it's going to sell, if I list it up there, it's going to sell within a few days. I'll keep selling that $10 item over and over again because it continued to get me sales. For me, I have 1,300 items in my store. I would say I probably didn't start to see that trend around the 500 mark, like Erin was saying there. I would say once I broke over to 1,000 items, I started selling more. Though that's just because I had more items listed. That doesn't really transcend into saying, hey, if you put 1,000 items in your store, you're going to get 10 sales a day. A lot of people say it's usually between like 1% to 2% of how many items you have listed, what's going to be selling. But also too, like for me, I want to reduce my store as much as possible because I don't want to pay to store these items. I don't want to pay to be a hoarder. I'm here to get sales. So I don't care how many items I have listed in my store. I'm caring about the number of items that are selling within my 90 days, not the amount of items listed in my store. You always want that number to be higher than how many items you're listed. So that's why I'm trying to downsize my store, taking items that are in my store, condensing them into bigger lots, sell those off at a higher average sales price there, and just start moving items through.
Yeah, so I used to say the 500, but I think for years I did a disservice to everybody that watched me because I didn't impress how important sell-through rate is.
Yep.
And that's because I buy lots. So now I really try to point out that, like, and I always say how long stuff took to sell. And I sell a lot of stuff that takes 6 months, that takes a year. But I have 11 acres. I have multiple sheds. I have a second house. I have a lot of space. I can do that. If you're selling out of your garage, don't copy me. Please, please. You're going to run out of space and not have room for anything else. So I think the least amount of space that you have, the more you need to pay attention to sell-through rate, because you're going to need to turn it over and over and over. Like, I love vintage linens. Most of my vintage linens take 6 months to a year to sell because I need the right buyer to find them. And I like selling them individually. I don't like selling them in lots. If I sold them in lots, I would sell them faster, but I'd rather make 15, 15, 15 than $1 a piece in a lot. But like Rod was like the whole like slow nickel fast dime. Is that right?
Fast nickel, slow dime.
Like I do a mix of both. And so now like with the lower price stuff, like Nike shorts that are like, you know, $15, I'll only pick them up if I find like 2 or 3 of the same size that I can lot up, which A, makes it more appealing because they're getting more than one, and B, gets me a higher average sales price. And I love Kachinas. They are the same way. They take 6 months to a year, sometimes longer. So, but if you don't have the space, you cannot do that. Like, if there are people like my first show co-host, I don't know if Erin remember. Do you remember Chris and Calvin?
I do.
Okay, so Chris and Calvin were my first show co-hosts ever 5 years ago. And Chris only had 100 items in his store, and he would beat me on a 90-day total. And I had like 2,000 to 3,000 at that point. He had 100. He only picked up 75% or more sell through. So if there's 100 listed, he wanted to see 75 sold, or he wasn't bringing it home because he did it out of a small spare room. But his numbers were just as good as mine. So you really have to find your business model. And if you want stuff more to sell, you need to pay attention to the sell-through rate. And what sucks is with the one-off vintage stuff, a lot of times you can't find a sell-through rate. You're not going to find it on vintage linen because you won't find the same piece.
Yeah, some of them are hand
Same
done.
thing with Kachinas. Yeah. So if you like that one-off rare stuff, you're not going to find sell-throughs, and chances are it's going to take a long time. Unless you're Tiffany is so Tiffany has buyers. Okay. Tiffany's viewers are buyers. She's shopping for them, right? You guys are my viewers, and 95% of you are not buyers. And I'm okay with that. That's not what I started my channel for. I started my channel to educate people. But if I tried to do what Tiffany was doing, I wouldn't have food in the fridge right now because I wouldn't sell nothing. You know, I, on my catch treasure hunting videos, might sell 1 to 2 items per video. The rest gets listed, you know, and that is what it is. And that's the whole, like, different strokes for different folks. Like a lot of the thrifting channels do exactly what she's doing, but I do not. Marsha just put the link to my second. It would help if I put videos up on there. I guess that's step 1. I forget that part.
I would say the biggest thing for Stephanie, when you're picking up items out there, look at the item and be like, okay, where am I going to sell this item? Know what platform you're going to sell, where you're going to sell. If it's going to be a live auction, it's going to be on a certain platform. Number 2, how long is this item going to take before I actually sell it? And 3, what is my profit margin going to be? If you ask yourself that question on every single thing, not just buying items because you think they're going to be good, you'll get more disciplined through that process. But it's tough to do that, especially asking yourself, how long is it going to take me to sell this? Because I think people see the price point, people see the item, they know where they're going to sell it, but they don't take in mind how long, you know? And just remember, if there's 9 items listed on eBay, only 3 sold in that 90-day period, it's going to take 3 cycles of 90 days, 270 days possibly for all 9 of those items to sell, because they go in a 90-day cycle. So just keep that keep that percentage in your mind when you are looking up items.
Yeah, and like I said, because I bought lots, and I still buy lots and not individual items, I didn't impress the sell-through rate for years. And like I said, I really, thank you, Nikki. I love my sleeve too. I was supposed to go get it touched up, and I canceled and refused because I'm in the water so much. I go swimming 5 days a week after the gym, and we go out on the boat every Sunday. And I was like, I'm not getting holes in my arm and not being able to go in the water 3 weeks. So I'm going to get it done at the end of summer. But yeah, so he's going to touch up like the whole arm and whatever he wants to do.
Okay, go back to when you said you buy lots. So you probably should explain to people, when you buy a lot, you do have a method in place that you're going to try to recoup your money,
right? Really fast. So like you're buying lots. So when the cat's buying lots, I buy lots. We're focusing on, like, say if you buy 100 items, we're focusing on those 10 items that are going to get our money back as soon as possible. The rest of that, we don't care how long it takes to sell, because our main mind is keeping cash flow going, and that's what you want to do. So it's a little bit different. And I talked about that today, like on my video that'll come out tomorrow for you guys, because like I had like a hat that sold 2 years down the road, but I made the money on that lot the first month. I have the space that can sit here, and every other hat from that lot for the next 2 years that sells is all profit. And it's like, that's the thing. Like when I bought, like if you guys have been watching me, you know, I buy like ridiculous lots. I bought 600 Harley pins. I bought 1,200 license plates. I like that stuff. And the cool thing is, then I research, then I know, and then I can pick up individual ones that I've learned are worth money and sell fast. But like the license plates, I made my money back within 2 months, and I've been selling them for 2 years, making hundreds and thousands of dollars a month on them. But I have the space. I got my money back, and then they can sit here for 4 years. I don't care. I have nothing invested into them at that point. I've already paid somebody to list them, and I already have made my money back on the lot. But you have to have space to do that. You know, that's the big thing, is you have to have the space to do that. All right, we got a super chat. We already got Scott. We already got Todd. There you go. Thank you, Rod. My flipping banker says cheers to all the haters. Cheers to the... Oh, have you seen my tattoo? Can I get my foot up that high? Hold on.
You can do it. Come on.
Oh, no.
Do you see my foot? It says let them. You see the let them theory? It's tattooed on my foot.
You just probably ended up on some foot fetish website right now. Just letting you know. Only feet during the nurse flipper. There you go. You're gonna see that pop up on YouTube.
Requests.
Free advertising, Rod.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't like. Anyways, I have let them tattooed on my foot. You are all amazing. If you haven't read the poem, Google let them right now. You can stop. Google let them. You're amazing, and we appreciate you. Thank you for being honest and raw and showing my foot, even though that was like very awkward. It happens. Okay, what am I doing? I'm gonna give the whale. We haven't done the whale yet. Here you go.
Hey, I just want to say, guys, if you guys don't know, Clever Finds just bought a camera to start filming YouTube videos. We don't know how hard it is when we first start. He only has 26 subs right now. Click on his name, do me a favor, and give him a follow on YouTube. He's someone who's just starting out, and let's give him some support, because we all know how tough it is. So give him a follow if you guys can. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult. In the beginning, you were counting every single person and every minute watched, for sure. All right, the 5 Acre Woods, I like your name, says, and that's Miss Debbie, if you have multiple watchers on an item that is eligible for sending an offer, do all watchers get the offer? And if not, are they notified and offers going out to others?
So eBay has changed recently how they do that, and I noticed sometimes that when I send an offer, it'll say like there's 4 watchers, but it only sent an offer to one person. I don't know how they decide who gets it and who doesn't. And then I have received notices on items that I've watched that an offer was sent to me and somebody else. So there are some notifications. I don't know how consistent they are and I don't know how they work, but they do notify people of stuff from time to time.
Yeah, I've noticed that exact same thing. I wonder if somebody has made an offer and you've rejected it at
Mhm.
less of a price, they don't get the offer.
Yeah.
One thing to note is not all watchers are buyers. A lot of watchers are sellers who want to keep an eye on an item if they have the same or similar item to see if it's going to move, to see if it's going to sell, and if it's going to sell at the price that the person they're watching is offering it at. So yeah, I don't know, Kat, do you know, did your Rod know why if there's 7 watchers, only 1 or 2 gets the offer?
I think it comes down to when those people are starting to watch it, and the people that actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes I look at an item and I receive a notification, even though I'm not following it, I'm not watching. So I don't know if eBay automatically just adds that as like a watcher to it. I tell you the thing that frustrates me the most though is when I see I have a watcher, I go to send that watcher an offer and he goes, this buyer is not eligible because maybe they're in a country or something else. I'm like, then why are you giving the option to send out an offer if they're not eligible for it? That's the most frustrating.
I'm putting this is why. And I think too, because you most likely already sent an offer and they've been watching it a long time and people can only get an offer once. So if you already sent it to them in the past, they will not get that offer again. I don't know how they determine like who looks at it that gets offers, because I look at tons of things and I only get offers sporadically on things. I know, where is it that does like somebody else made an offer on this? Maybe Poshmark, one of the, it's not eBay. Somewhere does that though, you know, where they're like, somebody made an offer on an item you're watching. And they like tattletale to try and get you to go get it first. But yeah, I think most of the time that though it's because somebody already got that offer earlier. I think you can turn off. I think people can tell eBay not to send offers to you, which I don't know why anybody would do that. Because I purposely will watch items and I will sit and wait and see if that seller is going to send me an offer.
I do that too.
I'm like, okay, how long is it going to take you to send me an offer? I'll buy it. If it's good. If it's not good, I won't buy it. All right. Maylene says, what is your typical daily schedule? Do you first work out, then list or source? How long do you typically spend time for each activity? Erin runs. Erin's a runner.
I'm somewhat new to running, but I've
You
been
run
enjoying
though regularly. She runs.
I've been
She's a
enjoying it
runner.
more.
Don't let her talk.
So I don't have a typical day. So my youngest is in high school. It's her senior year. So every morning I do drive her to school. So I'm up early. But as far as like what's going on throughout my day, it depends. Do I have a live? Do I need to ship things? Do I need to reorganize? Am I bringing in a lot? Am I going shopping? So I do what I can do and I do what I have to do. Come on in, hon. Elizabeth's gonna tell us goodnight. Let's go in bed. Whoop. I almost dropped that, didn't I? Okay, tell their friends goodnight.
Night.
Good night.
Love you, sweetie.
Love you.
Peace. I'll see you in the morning.
Oh, by the way, I got totally tomorrow.
You have a 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
Why? See?
Testing.
Oh, state testing. See, so even tomorrow I have a 2-hour delay. So like I have a live at 10:30. So, oh, by the way, I'm live tomorrow morning at 10:30 on knickknacks.net. We have a good morning knickknacks train that we do for the early birds. But so even like, you know, just now, even with that one 2-hour delay, that'll throw my whole day off because I'll have that errand where I usually would have had it in the morning. I'm going to have it 2 hours later. And then I'm going to be in a rush to get back to start my show by the time. Good night, sweetie. So that was perfect timing for that, wasn't it? So
It was.
I exercise honestly for my mental health more than anything else. And so if I feel like I just need to go for a run, I will just go for a run. So I don't know how well that answers your questions, but I don't have a typical day.
My mornings are pretty set, and the rest of my days are a little bit like Erin's. Whatever needs to be done. One of my kids starts school at 7, classes at 7, and the other one's at 9. So I get them both ready, and I do little bits in between. I'll check my email. I'll respond to eBay, all that stuff. At 9 o'clock, Chris and I take our 2 German Shepherds for a 5-mile hike run. He's a paramedic, so he works 48-hour shifts during the week. When we get back from that, it's usually 10:30. He'll do what he does, and then I'll start, whether it's thrifting, whether it's editing, whether it's shipping, listing. I just have a list. I make a list the night before on what absolutely needs to get done, and then what can get done if I have the time. But I really like to prioritize my kids, because I don't know how they're 11 and 15, and I don't know how that happened. And I'm just trying to hold on to the few years I have left with them at home. And it really hit home. I think it was 2 years ago. I asked my son what he wanted for Christmas, and he said, more time with you, because you work all the time. So that's what he wanted. And after that, I just sort of dialed it back a bit. I stopped doing whatnot. I went to 1 video a week, and I just made them my priority.
Love it. I would say my wife says the same thing. I work all the time, because I do. But here's the thing is, she understands it's a bigger picture. What we do, and a lot of us out here, like, I have multiple YouTube channels. I do multiple podcasts. I sell on multiple platforms. I am part owner of some other selling platforms. Like, there's a lot that goes into what we do. So I would say for me, my typical day is going to vary based on what's going on that week. Some weeks I have my stepson, some I don't. I take him to school in the morning because I have the flexibility to do that. So I will tell you what I started to do now is blocking out time throughout my day. So like, if I'm going to say, okay, I take the kid to school, I put that block out. Then from 9 to 10, I'm going to edit video. I'm going to list from 11 to 12. And I try, by blocking out specific times for tasks, it forces me to put myself in a time crunch for those tasks instead of just having an open day. So that was a game changer for me, doing that. Also setting up my schedule the night before, so that when I wake up, I don't have to think about what I need to do. When I sit down the end of the night, I'm like, okay, I take 5 minutes, write down what I need to do next day, kind of block it off in schedule, block it off in time periods. Because if someone said, hey, you have to list, not trying to list 10 items, not trying to list 20 items, hey, you have 1 hour to list, get as much done as possible, you're going to sit there and you're going to power through that and list that. So I find that to be more effective for me now than tell and say, I'm going to list 10 items throughout the day. So I've actually switched that up for me. Do I sleep? I don't even know what sleep is. All right. So to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so for me, I source once or twice a week. Usually it's going to be a flea market or garage sales, sometimes twice. But when I do outsourcing, I'll go sourcing for 4 hours, 5 hours, and I'll get that because I get my video footage, all the stuff like that. I'm usually listing, or I'm doing lives, selling on Dibbit or whatnot. So my schedule just changes per day. But best thing is for you guys, schedule your stuff the night before, so you know what you have to do in the morning.
Yeah. So for me, if I get up before Dalton, I will do my ending of my listings that I'm going to do sell similar. I do that before I wake him up. Drop him off at school if he has school. So that's Monday through Friday. I then go to the gym. I am pretty OCD that I'm at the gym Monday through Friday. Even if he is out of school, if we are home, I am at the gym. He will come with me sometimes and sit in like the lobby area. And for the last 3 weeks, I go to the springs and I swim an hour at the springs after I go to the gym, and I'm home about 10 a.m. And then I start working. But depending on the day, depends on what I do. So like today, I work with my trainer every Tuesday, so I only went to the springs and went swimming, came home, worked until 12:45, went to the gym from 1 to 2 with my trainer, went and picked up Dalton, and then every Tuesday after I pick up Dalton until this podcast is done, I'm in front of this camera. So I come home, I take a shower after the gym, Brooke does my hair and makeup, and I record my videos for the week, and I do this podcast. And most of the time, there's not even a 5-minute break in between me recording videos and me coming live with you guys, so my butt hurts. And that's every single Tuesday. So like tomorrow though, Dalton has a field trip. That's a nice thing with what we do. We can switch it. We might have a semi-regular schedule, but like tomorrow Dalton has a field trip. So I'm going to have to suck it up and skip swimming at the springs. I will still go to the gym and work out because they're not leaving the school until 9. So I have time to go to the gym, work out, come home, take a shower, go to the field trip. And then he has a dentist appointment at 4 in town. I'm glad you appreciate my butt. So I'm not going to drive an hour home to stay here for 30 minutes and drive an hour back. So I'll probably go thrifting between his field trip and his dentist appointment tomorrow, in town in Gainesville, because we're going to be there anyways. So like it's all over the place. So I guess my answer is kind of like Erin, but what I always do Monday through Friday is I take him to school, I go to the gym, and I go swimming. My health and my fitness is super, super important to me. So that, unless like tomorrow, like I said, I got to skip it. So sometimes I can't. And like I had to get my teeth cleaned last week, like stuff that's, I think everybody's schedule would change, even if you had a regular job. You know, you're going to have appointments and stuff with the kids. The nice thing is we can do it without, like, we don't have to ask for permission or request PTO. Like, we just friggin' do what we want. Like last week, Wednesday through Friday, we were in South Florida at the beach. You know, Mark was 1 minute early, 1 minute. He got here at 9:10. Everybody now knows that Mark gets here at 9:11. All right. Where is Rod? Here is Rod. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I swear. Here you go.
Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time.
I have to like hold my hand down.
It's my gimmick. You don't steal my punch. Every time she does it, you know what to do her punch because she got her fingers tattooed.
I just want to show my octopus. I should, like, I've thought, like, there's so much stuff I want to do, but there's not enough time. Like, there's just not enough time to do it all. Like, I really want to do live selling, and I just don't have time. I don't have time. I might have Shannon come next week and do some whatnot sales, though. I might do linen, because I have, like, 4 trash bags full of vintage linen.
Wow.
That I wanted to sell, like, live, so you guys could get deals and possibly resell it. What, Erin? What are you laughing at?
Kudos to Tiffany, you know, realizing that the kids grow up so fast and you're like, you know, wait, where did the time go? So Elizabeth's my youngest. She's 18. And I have a 26-year-old that's married and I have a 30-year-old. So like it just is like gone in a flash and you're like, wait, that was the baby I just brought home. So yeah, having you know, being able to make reselling your income does afford you a lot of flexibility. And so I think we're seeing that with all of us. There's like certain things that have to get done, but you've got that flexibility to fit in what you need to do or what you want to do, you know, on a daily basis too. But certainly, you know, you have to be self-motivated. You're going to have to find the time to do the things that have to be done to make the
like
money
I'll
that
stay
you
up
want to
till
make.
midnight. So if I go do something with Dalton, I'm going to stay up late getting the work done I need to when he's asleep. Yeah, LaDonna saying wait till you get grandchildren. Like my grandson's almost 2, which is crazy.
That's wild, Kat. I can't believe I remember that.
He's almost 2. And like it just, I mean, like I said, there's so much you have to prioritize. Like Tiffany's lucky, like she can pull back. Like for me, I'm like, it's me. Like that's it. I have no other income. You know, it's me and the kids, and I have to make money like the kids have to eat. I don't want to live in a tent. I mean, I might if it's on the beach, but like, I mean, it's hard to balance that, especially if it's just you. So that's where, like I said, I'll do as much as I can while he's at school, and then I'll do stuff after he goes to sleep. And I have been making myself take off the weekends, and I haven't seen like a noticeable, like my sales are up from last month. So I haven't seen like a noticeable dip in it from taking the weekends off. Like since it warmed up, we're on the boat every Sunday. We are on, except for Easter, every Sunday we're on the boat. And that will continue. And when he's out for the summer, we'll probably be on the boat 2 or 3 times a week. And I'll stay up working if I get to go on the ocean. I don't care. Let him go to sleep, and then I'll do my work, so I don't miss the time with him, and we can adjust it, which is nice.
Well, it's also the law of diminishing returns too. Liz. Just because you put 100 hours in your business, that doesn't mean you're going to be as effective at.
Oh, that's the whole
90,
part-time, full-time thing. You're like,
Yeah.
my income's going to double. Oh, no, it's not.
Well, so Tiffany, I'm going to ask you, since you cut back to one video, you cut back your live selling, what type of impact did that have on your business?
I think you inspired me, when you always say work smarter, not harder. And that's something you always say.
Yeah.
I analyzed what I was doing, and I cut out the things that were not making me as much money. And I tried to streamline my methods and put extra time into what was making me
Money.
the most return, which was YouTube, and now my own website, my selling website. I found that although I love doing Whatnot, I love connecting with you guys. I love selling live. I really enjoy that because it's just me. I do absolutely everything. It wasn't as nearly as profitable. Although Whatnot takes care of all the labels and all the shipping, the time it takes to
very time consuming.
Yeah, to ship all that, and maybe you
set up and
do
get
well
ready
on some
for a sale
items.
takes time.
Yeah, preparing for the
you do
show.
well on some items, but some only sell for $2-3, and it still takes the same amount of time to ship, especially when you sell what I sell, which are it's not jewelry, it's not hankies, it's not.
Not easy shipping out.
Well,
stuff.
you should sell
I
that.
tried to get her to get non-breakable stuff. I tried.
You did try, but concisely, I just tried to cut the fat and put more into what was making me the most return.
So you were able to. So the biggest point from this is you were able to cut back in your business.
That's like the 20/80 thing, Rod.
Yeah, 100%. She was able to cut back in the business and more time with their family.
I know people complaining and moaning that my videos are very, very long, but honestly, I make probably about 50% more on a video that's over an hour than I do. I did an experiment. My last video, I did it as fast as I could. I did the editing. I chopped it. I didn't do as much voiceover. I didn't put any of the end stuff on. I didn't do any extras at all. It ended up being 28 minutes, I think, as opposed to an hour and 28 minutes. And I got sliced by that. It wasn't good for me. But they say if you want to make a change on a YouTube video in your style, in the length, in the way you produce, you have to give it a few 4, 5, 10 times of that same
style and
to set for the algorithm to say, okay, now you're doing this, fine, we'll put this out.
So I would say the biggest takeaway that everyone should take away from this is, as you get more successful in your reselling business, and that if you start doing YouTube, you start doing lives, you start doing all this stuff, you really do need to reassess what is important to your business and what's making you the most amount of money. Prioritize those things, but make sure you're taking care of your health and your family first and foremost. Your religion, your health, and your family should be top of your top of your totem pole, but then everything else, prioritize those things, because sometimes you have to make those tough decisions to cut things out that you enjoy doing or that just not making the money. But I will tell you, at the end of the day, it relieves a lot of stress as well. I'm sure you're a lot less stressed because now you have a little bit less that not doing those live selling, you one that's video, and now you have more time to do the things that you actually enjoy and that are important to you.
Exactly. And I had somebody make a comment the other day on one of my videos that said, okay, you left behind a mug. It cost $1. You said you could make 10 on it. That seems like a really good profit to me. And I said, I broke it down, all the time and expense and whatever goes into that selling of the mug, I end up with about $3 to $4 profit. Yeah. And for the time I put into it, that's not enough for me. I want, my goal is $15 to $20 an item. And if I'm not making that, I have to work too hard and too long.
But it's nice that you pointed it out to show people that, hey, you know what, for someone else's business model starting out, that might be something good for them to pick up. They could buy that mug for $1, sell it for 10, still making a profit, rinse and repeat when people are working on a shoestring budget. So, I mean, there are, and that's why I love when people do that in their videos. Like, hey, I'm going to show you this. This could be profitable, but it's not profitable for me, in your business. Kat does
and I do that too on the thrifting. Like, I mean, like when I first started, I was happy with $15. And I'm not saying I'm not, because I still do sell $15. I sell $10 items. I'm happy with all of that, but I try to get a $25 sale because I pay people to take the photographs. I pay people to ship, and I just need that higher. Now, does that mean if I get a lot of items that I'm not gonna? Sometimes I don't. And we really try and lot things up a lot more than we used to. I used to think I needed to list every single item separately, and I don't. And you don't either. Yep. You want a higher sales price, lot similar items up together. If it makes sense, don't lot like different sizes or, I mean, I'm listing like Nike, all tank tops, all the same size, Nike running shorts, Nike or scrubs. Like I do very well with scrubs, lotting them up because I have dollar clothing stores. If I can find 4 scrub tops, the same brand, the same size, I can sell them fast. And they sell on all the platforms. They sell on eBay, Posh, and Mercari well. So for $1 a piece, I'm going to get them. All right. Vintage Vibe says she's a new eBay seller. She had issues setting her return policy, got help from eBay chat. Left over issue is no return policy continually reappears. She deleted it several times. Have you ever had that happen?
No.
Are you saying it
I don't know if I'm following.
That?
I think that's the whole policies thing, isn't it? I feel like that's a policy issue.
So like, okay, if you're going to do business policies, you've got to do all of your settings that way. And if not, then you just use the settings that's on each listing. Because I know some people have had problems with using policies. I tried them at one point and went back. I reverted everything back to where I just used the settings on business. Yes, business policies are awful, Marcia says. I agree. I don't know how to help you with that. I've not experienced that.
So are you saying it's default when you go to list a new item, it's defaulting to no return policy?
Yeah, and then she deletes it and then it keeps coming. I think it's business policy is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's always good to accept returns, because if you don't accept returns, your buyers that want to return something are going to find a way, and they'll nitpick and they'll find something wrong, or they'll find something that you didn't mention, and then you have to pay the return postage if it's not as described.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, because I once when I first started out, I was like, I'm not doing any returns, but then buyer will always find a way to return it. They'll put it in as item does not match an INAD, like not match description, or there's an error with it, and you get it back and it's completely fine. So I found that having a return policy is actually beneficial to your business, because one, it gives the buyer peace of mind knowing that, hey, if this is something I don't like, I can return it. And I put in the buyer pays return shipping. So I've had many times a buyer reach out, they want to return the item, they pay the return shipping on the item because there's nothing wrong with the item. They just bought the wrong item, or they just didn't want it anymore, or something else happened. And buyers will find a way to return it at any point in time. But it does sound like it's a business policy that you're going through. So what I would recommend is if you go in the homepage of from a desktop, go to homepage where it shows your name in the top left corner, and then you go to account settings, and there's actually a business policy in there. So I would make sure that, see if you set business policies on your on your listings, because if you have a business policy, you can go in there and change all your listings at one time.
Yeah. She said she set the rest of it. It was only the return policy that went nuts. That's just so weird. I mean,
Yeah.
I would almost ask them again, but there's so many glitches. Like there really is. I keep, like when I go list, I keep it keeps reverting back to priority off of ground. And if I'm like in my list mode, I don't notice that. I'm like, crap, I have priority on 4-ounce item, you know, that's absolutely expensive. And it should revert. Like I use ground advantage all the time and it should stay on that, but it doesn't, which is like a pain in the butt. Also, this is our second question. Do you offer free returns on international orders? You guys can answer this in the chat too. And if you do allow them, why do you?
I only use the eBay International. They take care of it shipping, so I don't know what I would assume their policy is that they accept returns, but I won't have to deal with them because I send them through the eBay International program. So I send everything to Chicago. So
Right, the same.
Chicago.
It used to be the global shipping program. I think they changed the name of it, but
yeah.
you send it to a hub and then your responsibility ends. Once it's received at the hub, eBay takes care of the international portion of it. I don't accept returns. I think once it gets to the hub, they inspect it. And if it arrives damaged, gosh, I don't even know. If it arrives damaged, then eBay will reimburse the buyer, correct? And
Yes.
then after that, I don't think you even hear about it.
Yeah, so I've had buyers that wanted to do a return, but eBay just took care of it. So
Yeah.
I've had items that got broken in shipping. I have items that, you know, because here's the thing, the buyer's paying 2 shipping charges, one for you to ship it domestically to the shipping hub, and then from the shipping hub to ship it directly to them. But your job is done. Once you ship the item from there to the shipping hub, eBay handles the rest of it from there on out. So I don't know if eBay has like a global warehouse. They have all these like broken items being returned to them or like items being shipped back. I don't know what they do with it, but eBay does charge that buyer a premium to help cover those shipping charges, plus their workers there, plus they make a profit on that over the top of it.
Yeah, and I don't do free returns. Like everybody said, I'm on eBay standard as well. And I had one time that they tried to make me pay for shipping, but that was before like the whole system changed, so I haven't had any issues. I take that back. I did have one and it was actually something I missed, and I would have taken the item back. It was a Swarovski that like had damage that I didn't see, but when I went back and like zoomed in on my pictures, it was there, and so I would have accepted it, but eBay refunded the buyer for me, so they did I got lucky. It was a $300 Swarovski piece. All right. Miss Susan wants to know, what is the best way to guesstimate shipping costs on eBay? I'm thinking of offering free shipping on some listings, but don't want to lose money.
Okay, so I do not do free shipping on anything. And after you've shipped enough items, you kind of get a feel for like how much your packaging is going to weigh with the item. So it's just a matter of experience. I guess the other thing you can do is if you want to do a test run and say, hey, here's a box I might use, here's some paper I might use, put that on the scale and weigh that and add it in to the weight of the item. I guess I'm just at the point now where I don't have the time nor the patience to weigh things as I list them like I used to. Every once in a while, if something is like really heavy and I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling comfortable with this, I'll set it on the scale and take a picture so I have a picture of the weight when I go to list it. But the best way to guesstimate shipping costs is to do it. Ship items, sell items and ship them and get used to it. It just kind of was one of those things that like you learn over time. Like I can pick up like a priority mailbox weighs so much less than like a box that I'm reusing from a candle company because of what they're shipping in it, I guess. So trial and error. I guess.
So when you're creating a listing on eBay and you get to the shipping paragraph, there's a little button that says calculated shipping. If you check that and then you enter the weight of your package and the dimensions of the package, eBay will give you a range. So I'm in Vegas. It'll give me a range for West Coast, like if California, if it's Washington, Oregon, all in my area, it's one price, maybe $5. And if it's going to New Jersey, Rhode Island, Maine, it's going to be $15. So if you are going to charge shipping and take that out of the cost of your listing, you want to go the high end. Personally, I only offer free shipping on lightweight items that are probably under 12 ounces, because that way the differential in the shipping cost, $5 to $15, isn't huge. And I'm not going to discourage my East Coast buyers. And, so I only offer free shipping on really light items. If an item's really heavy, if it's 4.5 pounds and it can ship under 5 pounds, I'm going to put it on Poshmark, because my Poshmark buyers pay $8 and change flat rate. So they'll be more likely to buy the item because they don't have to pay as much in shipping. But as I said, starting out, if you want to know how much something is going to ship for, check the calculated shipping. It will give you a range. And then you can see, if you want to do that. Another thing, though, to be aware of, if you're offering free shipping on an item that could possibly be returned, if it comes back, then you have to pay the return shipping. So be aware of that. So like shoes, I never offer free shipping.
And you can't hold back the shipping
Right.
on the refund because you gave it to them.
So if there's any chance that thing's coming back to you for any reason, don't offer free shipping because you'll end up paying it.
So first and foremost, there is no such thing as free shipping. All right. So a lot of you new people out there, the buyer pays the shipping or the seller pays the shipping. When the seller, you may factor that into your cost of the item, but technically there is no such thing as free shipping. So if you're going to be offering free shipping, you're just adding extra $5, $6, $7, $8 to your actual listing cost of that item to cover the shipping on that. There's a reason why I don't offer free shipping on my items, because the Postal Service multiple times a year changes their rates. That means I would have to go into all my listings and update my listings, the cost of my listings. But if I have calculated shipping on there, the eBay automatically changes the calculated shipping for you based on the new rates. So you don't have to adjust your shipping rates. So that's part of the reason why I don't offer free shipping. One of the things, the only thing I would offer free shipping on, if I had some items that were, say this shipping was like, the item was going to be a $5 item, but the shipping is going to be $7. I personally don't like to buy an item. The perception of paying more money for shipping than the item's actually worth buying. It looks a lot better having an item listed for $12 free shipping than buying an item for $5 with $7 shipping. That's just a perception thing. So just how people perceive things as a sales tactic. But I would say the best thing for you to do is, just like Erin says, it's going to be trial and error. Over time, I can pick up an item and already know what it's going to cost to ship the item. 95% of the time, I'll probably be right on within a dollar or two of the price. But I always keep a scale next to me, and if I quick need to, as I put on the scale, I have an estimate of weight. And I would say you can know over time by using the calculated shipping on there in the very beginning. If you have an item this size and it weighs an X amount, you already know based on the amount of pounds it's going to be what it's going to cost to ship the item. And that's something just trial and error over time. You'll end up figuring out. But I would keep a scale next year, because I will tell you, not having one bite and you're just guessing what that could be, you will get burned at one point in time, and you'll learn a hard lesson. We've all been there.
Yeah, I know you're still in the chat because I see you saying thank you. Tell us where you live. Because I think that really is a big thing, because like Tiffany is out in Las Vegas, so she's West Coast. Rod and I are East Coast. Erin, you're kind of like,
I'm Ohio, so like
you're
shipping
kind
to
of
the East
central.
Coast. You would think, but it's not. Not as far as shipping is concerned, because of the way the zones fall. So like anything that's
She's
like
in Tampa, Rod. She's where you are.
Well, you're in Tampa?
No, I'm in Ohio.
Oh,
Not Erin.
Oh,
Sue.
Susan is.
so, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, she just said she was in Ohio. I'm so confused. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, Susan's Tim. So, but like anything that I ship East Coast, usually falls like 1 or 2 zones away. But if I get like Washington or California, it is like maximum pricing to ship stuff, even from Ohio, even though I'm not that far over to the East Coast, whatever zone it is from here to there, they are like maxing out the cost of shipping at the post office.
Yeah, so being in the corner of the US, like Rod and myself, Tiffany is in the other corner of the US. I wouldn't do it unless, like Tiffany said, I would do it 12 ounces or lower. So if you're selling lightweight items, Omaha. LaDonna says, if you were in the middle of the country, then I would say you might be okay. You're not. You're down here in the corner like us, and that means it goes from $8 to 20. I believe 20 or 22 for a 2 pound rate. And that is a big difference. So what's going to happen, right, is if you say, okay, I'm going to charge everybody $22, well, your Florida buyers aren't going to buy it because they can find it from somebody with it calculated at $8. And if you go in the middle, that might work depending on what you're selling, but you're going to lose some, you're going to gain some. So if you think you want to do it, I would only do it on items under 12 ounces because then it's like $5 to $6 and that's what it is. Like jewelry, handkerchiefs, scarves, all that lightweight stuff would be okay. I do not do it. I don't even do it on 4-ounce stuff. I'm not doing it. I hate I love having it, but I hate the environment that Amazon Prime has created, and that's that people think shipping is free, and shipping is not free. And I want people to know that shipping is not free. Somebody's paying for it. Even if you see free shipping, that means the seller's paying for it. Like our shipping from Amazon, they're paying for it. It's not free. We just have Prime, right? Like, so like Amazon Prime is just created like where everybody feels like shipping doesn't cost anything and they shouldn't pay it. And that's not the case. And I think that a lot of times, like Tiffany's West Coast, I bet a lot of her stuff comes East Coast, and us on the East Coast, our stuff goes West Coast. And I think that's because of what we find is not on the other side of the country, So I think a lot of that is because of that. And it just like, yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Okay.
Kat, so I started the show with 0 sales. I'm now up to $649 in sales since the show has started.
How much?
Go
$649.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's crazy how that works out one day. You know what I mean? Like you have nothing, and then the last hour you just get hit with a bunch.
All right. That one we just did. That was Miss Sue's question. Oh, Sarah sells smalls. Listen, I was thinking your name was Sarah sells shells. I got to show you because I like literally stopped traffic to do this. Hold on. I've got to show you this. I got to find it. Look, so I took this picture for you because I thought that was your name. And it's see, oh my gosh. Can somebody read that? That's not me.
She
No,
sells
Kat, I want you to read it.
She sells seashells. I was like, I gotta stop and take that picture for Sarah. Okay, I'm gonna present my screen to you, and I will walk you guys through how to get to the coupon because I think that's probably the easiest way to do this.
And I'm going to tell Sarah, if you go on Google, it's easier to find it on Google than it is on eBay.
So this is like my eBay seller hub. There's a shortcut, or there used to be. I might be gone.
I thought they were getting rid
go?
of it. Weren't they talking about getting rid of the
Oh, eBay shipping supplies under shortcuts. I think that's where it's at. Oh, that takes you. I don't want to follow them. It takes you to the shipping supplies. Let's see if I add a box. Do I need these? I probably do. Okay, let's just try and find out. I think the coupon pops up like when I go to pay. Oh, nope, it's not there. Yes, Capital One, give me free discount. Okay, that didn't work. It's a pain in the butt. Hold on.
So if
Erin
you're
says
in your,
just Google it.
it's under
eBay.
marketing. It's under marketing. Subscriber
Okay,
discount.
hold on. Rod's going to tell me. Okay, marketing,
Yep, go to marketing. It's under subscriber discount,
subscriber discounts.
and it takes you to eBay shipping supplies.
Oh, there it is. See details.
Yep.
Oh, I better use it.
Yeah.
So see, there's mine.
So, Kat, you might want to use that
Oh,
right
don't
now
copy
because
mine. Oh,
Yeah.
let me close it. Nobody takes my coupon.
no, go on right now, Kat, and order supplies right this
Quick.
second.
I got it. Somebody's
You
going
got
to take
to.
my friggin' coupon. Oh, God.
I'm already racing
I
to
don't
try to
even
beat
know
you
what
to
we
it.
need. Oh, my gosh. I'm going. You know, I did that. You know what I did that with one time?
Oh God, I can't only imagine.
I did that with my phone number
Oh,
Oh no.
on a live. Who was it? I think it was Richard. Richard's like, Cat. And I'm like, what? Like, whatever.
you want to know? I did horrible one time. I'm not going to say what it was, what I was doing, but at some point in time, I had to do something in one of my YouTube videos where I had to fill out paperwork at a place, and I put my social security number on the paperwork, which they needed for the documentation, and didn't realize it was on the table on the camera. And people was like, someone sent me, "Yo, man, your social security number and all your personal information is on your video that you just put on YouTube."
No.
I was like, yeah. So luckily, I was able to go in there and re-edit it out, but you just never know. You got to be very careful of that.
Oh, I can just, here, I'm just going to buy this. Here we go. Hold
Watch this
on.
be
Let
like,
me,
coupon has already been used.
50. I know. I will beat y'all. Okay, confirm and pay. Go. Hold on.
Oh man,
Processing.
the suspense
Okay,
is
I
killing me.
use my own coupon, so now you guys cannot use my coupon. Now that we found it.
It made for
All right.
entertainment moment.
Ellen has a question for me. Do you use the title that List Perfectly suggests? I do not. I do use, I would say 75% of what they put up there, but I add and subtract depending on what they put up there. And you got to read it. You have to use your brain. You cannot let AI be your brain, or it's like the cracked egg, because you have to still think for yourself. So if I have keywords that I think are going to sell the item better, I'm going to pull out some of what they put. I'm going to add my keywords. So there very rarely is a title that I don't edit in some way. Even though a lot of times it's very minimal, I might just take out a couple of words. And also, like, I just listed tons of Silpata jewelry, and I could use Google Lens, which is built into List Perfectly. If you don't know that, you just hit the magnifying glass and it'll pull up Google Lens. And like with Silpata, the pieces are named. So I could use Google Lens, find the name, and I wanted to use that in the title rather than a generic title for it. So the bottom line is no, I use some of it, but not all of it. All right, question for Rod from Lisa. She wants to know, do you end and sell similar through Vendoo, and do you think it helps increase sales? So are you doing it manually, or are you using Vendoo to do it?
I'm using Vendoo, so yeah, it definitely helps. We talked about it earlier, but it definitely helps increase sales for me and sell similar. Just get more activity in my store.
All right. What does it here? I don't know if Karen's still here. What does Tiffany do that I don't? Tiffany sells the majority of her items to her viewers. That's what she does that I don't do, because my viewers are mainly sellers, not buyers. And she has a community built up of buyers, so she can shop just for those people, which is cool. Because I know when I was doing Whatnot a lot, I would have regular buyers, and I would know, like, hey, like Lisa, who just asked Rod's question, I'd be like, Lisa's gonna like this. It's got a starfish on it because Lisa loves the beach, and so I would know. So I could be shopping. So like for that stuff, if I was doing more live selling, I feel like I could almost like curate shop, because if you do it enough, you get to know your buyers. You know what they like. You're like, oh, Karen's gonna like this, and you know who's gonna buy it, right? Am I right, Tiffany?
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That goes back to what I always say, though. When you buy an item, make sure you know where exactly you're going to sell it. So you're buying those items because you know you already have a buyer in mind or in place of where it's going to move right away. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, Google Lens is free to answer that question in the chat. It is not a paid app. It is free. All right, let's see. All right. Laura wants to know, and I think we've had this question quite a bit lately. Has anyone noticed that shipping is taking longer than usual for packages to arrive?
Shipping is taking a ridiculously long amount of time for stuff to arrive. Partially, if you go on to USPS, there's always at the top of the screen if there's a warning for slow deliveries in a certain area due to natural disasters, weather, whatever it is. For a while they had opened up a new hub. I think it was in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and everything was running very, very slow through there. I noticed even at my local post office, things that used to, I'm in a small town in Northwest Ohio, and so everything here doesn't get stamped until or scanned in or everything gets sent to Columbus before it gets sorted to go where it needs to go. And things getting even from here to Columbus were taking longer, or they were staying at my post office overnight, where typically they would have gone to Columbus the same day. So I'm not sure, like, the whole problem is USPS or if it's a combination of them and the weather. But I mean, obviously we're coming through spring weather now, but just coming out of the winter. And I think even didn't Colorado have like a foot of snow last week? So yes.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
noticing it too. It's whereas before, when the post office estimated how long it would take, it was usually a day or two, prior to that it would arrive. Now it's taking the max, if not an extra day. And I've noticed also that when I look at tracking, it'll say, the post office has received your item, it's in transit, and then it just stays there. And the next thing I know, 2-3 days later, it's delivered. So they're not necessarily updating the tracking the way they were either. So who knows? Maybe it will shake down, but I still think for me, ground advantage is the best way to go.
Yeah, so I would say through the postal service, there is some shipping hubs in the Tampa Bay area. I've had some issues with the shipping hub lately. Buyers, the package getting there and just being stuck there for a while, not moving, and then they eventually start moving. Atlanta, I had a lot of problems with the Atlanta area. Chicago area has always been a problem child for me as well. So it just depends on where you guys are shipping, but yeah, unfortunately,
Jacksonville is horrible.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Well, Jacksonville's the major one, I think, where they ship a lot of the items from the northeast part of the state. They ship in the planes out of so I think that's why. But what Erin was saying though, if you go to the postal website, anytime I have a buyer that says, "Hey," or they're getting upset with their package, I go to the website and I actually screenshot the delays, and so that I'll send them a message to the buyer with the screenshot from the postal service. That definitely helps out. Also, too, eBay puts out notifications and they will extend. So if a buyer opens up, they have not received your item, and eBay sends out those notifications that there's going to be like shipping delays due to weather or natural disasters or stuff like that. If a buyer does open up a claim because your package is being delayed, eBay will extend that usually from like the 5 days to 10 days for you, so you have extra time to go through that. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Val is in the Atlanta area, and she said the delays have actually improved over the last month, which is good to hear because they were bad for a long time. I had buyers message me saying, please use UPS. Do not ship this through the postal service because it was so horrible. And the only time I notice is, and I talked about this before, is because Poshmark will be like, sorry, your package is taking longer than expected to get the buyer. Like eBay doesn't do that. And I sell so much, I don't have time to go check. So unless people are messaging me, which they haven't been, and I feel like if it's an online buyer that's buying a lot, they probably know, they're like, oh, it's slow. But Poshmark will tell you, oh, sorry, your package is taking longer than expected. So that's the only thing. All right, let's do one more question. Laura said, well, I don't know if we might be able to do too. Laura said one shop, and as a new Vindu user, Rod, maybe you can help her. She said Depop is not connecting. Do you have any ideas to help her?
I would say they were running a couple of issues because of updates with certain platforms not connecting. I had an issue with Macari that they ended up fixing. Then I would just contact customer service. Customer service over there is real great, and they will respond to you. So if you're having any issues with that, they may do that. I had a pop-up blocker that was stopping me, and due to my I had a VPN as well, and that was also not allowing me to log on to certain platforms. So I would just reach out to customer service; they'll be able to help you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Most of them are decent about like getting back to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Maylene said she's starting to have hand and arm pain. Do any of us use any accessories like to protect our hands or our body from like motions that we're like doing repetitively?
I do not, but I don't have any issues either.
No, I don't.
I don't, but I will say this goes back to what I was saying earlier. By do your stuff in small batches where you break up your time. If you're starting to get like, problems with your hands, so that maybe you set like a half an hour time point, and then when you give yourself a 20-minute break, you do something else. Go back to that maybe an hour later. So you're not doing that. Usually, anytime that happens is from consistent over and over again repetition from it. So I would say just give yourself breaks in between.
Yeah, and I don't really have any issues either. I would like, if depending on what you're doing, I would look and see. I know they have like the wrist, like arm braces, that might help. And I almost wonder if it's like a carpal tunnel. I'm like doing this. My mom had carpal tunnel. And I know they make carpal tunnel braces. So I would maybe look and see if you could find something, or like ask like your doctor, if you have like a physical therapist or anything, and try and find something. All right. We did not get to all the questions, which I saw coming when we had 13 questions before we started. That typically happens. So I'm sorry if we didn't get to your questions tonight. We are here every Tuesday, and you can put them in early to make sure they get answered. So I'm going to let Erin and Tiffany tell you what they've got going on, where you can find them, and then Rod and myself. And then we will let you guys go. So here is Miss Erin.
So again, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I sell on eBay, Macari, Poshmark, and Knickknacks, which is also part of District. So if you have the District app, you can see me there. I guess I want to say real quick is like, if you go onto the District app and it's like live selling, like whatnot, and you follow a favorite seller, make sure that you also visit that seller's profile page, because you're going to want to see what all marketplaces they're selling on, because you're only going to get notifications where you follow them at. So that is a slight disadvantage to sellers over there, but it's an advantage to marketplace owners. So just a note that if you're on District and you're following somebody, make sure you follow all of the markets they're on.
All right, here is Miss Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Kat and Rod, for having me. It's always a really fun time.
The dogs agree.
Sorry. Somebody came home. And thank you all for being here. Some really great questions. I really enjoyed it. You can find me on YouTube. I'm Thrifting Vegas. I'm also on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. I sell on my own website store. It's thriftingvegas.com. And I also have eBay and Poshmark, both Thrifting Vegas.
Perfect. Rod, what do you got going on, my friend?
So this Sunday night, I'm going live on Dibbit, and I'm doing a $5,000 merchandise show. I'm starting everything at $1. We're talking from video game systems, wrestling belts, vintage Star Wars toys, everything. Everything's starting at $1. $5,000 show from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I'm giving away Nintendo Wii. I'm giving away a ton of stuff. I'll have my new video for Picking and Punching channel dropping tomorrow. And on Thursday, we'll be on Dibbit Threads doing an anything but clothes raid train, meaning belts, shoes, hats, accessories, just no pants, no shirts. We'll be wearing
No,
pants or shirts.
no
We're just
shirt,
not
no
selling.
service.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct, Kat. But there you go.
All right. So I need to be better about my catch treasure hunting. I'm gonna try and get a video out on it soon. I promise. Tomorrow I'll have a what sold out on this channel. Friday I did camphor glass, which is really, really fun and it's really valuable and a lot of people don't know about it. And I actually tell you what it is and how it came about, which I don't normally do on my research videos. So we'll see how you guys like that. A little more education. And then Sundays, I'm actually going to record after this, and it's high dollar Avon stuff that a lot of people don't know. So everybody thinks it's kind of gone by the wayside, but there's some stuff that has not. So that's what I'll have. Next week, we are going to have One Way Vintage with us. Hopefully, both of them are here. And then I think that's it. I appreciate all of you guys. Marsha just dropped the link for Dalton's book fundraiser again. If you guys would like to do that. I explained earlier, but like Dalton gets his 10 books first, and once he has paid for his 10 books with donations, then the rest goes to his classmates that can't afford to get them, which is nice. Yeah, the high dollar Avon's coming out on Sunday. It's definitely coming out. I've already got everything pulled up with the research. And yeah, thank you so much, Erin and Tiffany, for coming on. Rod for continuing to show up. I will post for you guys too. So Trish from List Perfectly is in Florida. She just messaged me. She's going to come to my house on Thursday. And she has some meetups around the state next week. I believe in Orlando is one. So if you guys are Floridians like Rod and myself, I'll post for you guys if you want to go to some in-person meetups that she's doing. And it's eBay centered, so you don't have to be like a List Perfectly user or anything. So definitely check that out. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. We can't do this without you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.